I want to leap over buildings, want to fly over the shores, faster than a lightning flash, rushing through the cool night air. So start ignition, count to 0. I just wanna be a superhero. With fearless thoughts, emotions swirl. I wanna be the man that saves the world. So start ignition, count to 0. I just wanna be a superhero.
Hello there and good evening to this third round at Silverstone here of the ACR Speed iSimRs.com GPVWC Academy series here this evening. I hope you're well, hope you're keeping well, and I hope you're excited for this evening's action. I'm delighted to welcome back for this round Sebastian Kowalski here with me this evening. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better than last time. and good evening to all the viewers out there.
Fantastic. So we are just actually in the qualifying session now for this race. It's at Silverstone. Beautiful conditions here, complete contrast to last race's, the last race at Austria when it was absolutely pouring down with rain for the whole race and caused absolute chaos as a result. And so hopefully today will be a little bit more organized and clean as a result of that. So we're just doing the 15-minute session here now. Everyone's just left the pits and doing their first runs here as we speak. So it's got 31 drivers so far taken part for this event so far, as everyone just goes around now, so we're just leaving the pits and everything. So as I say, so it's Silverstone today. Obviously the Grand Prix layout here that we're doing is quite short. It's only been 2 weeks since the last round at Austria, and after this round it's going to be a 6-week break. 6 weeks until we go to Hungary. A nice circuit for everyone to again learn a different type of circuit, and a circuit that everyone knows about. So Sebastian, obviously Silverstone, a track that everyone knows well. So hopefully should we have some really good racing this evening.
Yes, and there are a few spots where I feel like on this track we can have some very great action here. Obviously, there is Stowe coming into mind. There's Cops Corner where we might see 1 or 2 drivers maybe going a bit brave and trying the overtake. We've got the arena. Just entering the arena, turn 3, where just after the start we're going to have the first big braking zone, and there are a few spots on this track that are promising some really, really good racing.
Oh, there is for sure, and particularly that new arena section, like from turn 3 onwards. And then leading back onto the old circuit, I must admit, I really do like that section. It really does promote great racing around that area of the circuit, and it's still maintained the character of the circuit. I think it's been really, really nice addition. Obviously, it's been there for a few years now. It's been really, really. I think it's really positive. I actually took my first sim racing here a few years ago now, and I had a great racing back then, particularly around that section of track. So I must admit, particularly cars like this, which are not Formula 1 cars, but still pretty quick, but being a single-seater, single sort of car make series, it sort of helps to promote that the racing that's going to be nice and close, and hopefully some great action this evening. So as we are just completing the first laps, just to let you know, Joshua Penny in practice was the fastest man, and he is going just down the straight now into the final sector of the lap here as he goes through there, 4th gear around there. And everyone's just obviously going to be having this as like a this lap as like a benchmark, and hopefully people will get into it when they start to get their 3rd or 4th lap, just really starting some really good benchmarks. But very fast lap there actually from Steve Comby, actually 40.7, and he's a driver that we haven't seen so much of in his first couple of races, but he's come in and he's done a really good job. We've got some familiar names for people who have been watching this both rounds so far this season. There's a few names there you would recognise, like Hughes van der Stoep, he's currently in P2. Ruben van den Hudding is in P3 as well. Both of those drivers have done all the rounds so far. And Joshua Penny in P4 and a 41.6. And a new driver this series, Kasper Michalak, the Polish driver there, he's currently in P5. There's actually Rick Scott jumps up there to P2. He took part in Austria and looked fairly good, but I believe it didn't work. I can't remember if it didn't work. I don't think it worked out too well. I think we could have got into an incident or two, but I can't remember off the top of my head for now. As we said, we've got 30 cars taking part in qualifying at the moment. I think 1 or 2 has dropped out as of yet. One thing I will mention, actually, Sebastian, is the tyre wear around this circuit. That's going to be quite interesting, particularly with people either using wheels or controllers. The Silverstone circuit is quite an abrasive circuit at times, and tyre wear could be quite high here. So, would you expect to see pit stops? Quite a long race.
Considering that we've seen pit stops already in the first 2 races in Canada as well as in Austria, I would definitely expect some pit stops here. If you think about Canada and Austria and their basically the lack of abrasiveness on the tires, they're very friendly tracks for the tires, and even there we saw pit stops. So I think if you are able as a driver here to go without a single pit stop, you might have a shot at probably top 5. If you are fast enough on the track, you can take care of the tires as well. You might have a shot.
That is very true, and I think also obviously management's going to be a big thing. But I think people who have raced the first couple of races, they're going to be at a big advantage. People like Van der Stoep, like Van den Hudding, people like Joshua Penny as well. They'll have a big advantage because now they'll have a much better understanding of the car and how the car works. There's a few new drivers to this event, and it's great to see them, including Peter Jones. He's he's currently I think he's just going to complete his first lap, or he's at least going to finish this out lap at least. And let's see, he's crossed the line now, and yeah, he's just going to start a lap. So we got Peter Jones there, P29. Another new driver who's actually in P30 at the moment, who is out on track, is Cabrera. He is on the circuit as well, but he's doing his first round of this series anyway. This season, he's done his first round, and he's going to just start his first timed lap. But as we say, got for the experienced guys here as well. Pedro Delgado, he's just on that lap as well. He's been really, I must say, both races so far, he's been in the top 10 in both races. He had a great result in Austria as well, I believe. And he's one that if I was some of the team bosses, I'd certainly be looking to have on him, because he hasn't got the overall outright pace, but he does have some very, very good pace and a very consistent driver. Still top of the timesheets at the moment, Steve Comby on a 40.7. It's a nice little gap actually. I mean, 4/10. I mean, it's a long lap here. It's 100 seconds long, or 1 minute 40. It's still 4/10 compared to wherever else is on circuit. Very, very nice gap indeed. And he's followed at the moment by the very, very experienced Rick Scott at GPV. He's done a lot of races here in the past. And our fellow commentator Joshua Penny in 3rd position at the moment. as we just got about 7 minutes of this session still to go here.
We have quite a few interesting sector times. Pedro Delgado being pretty quick in the first sector, only a 10th behind Steve Comby. Peter Jones is actually taking second place with a 40.8, less than a 10th of a second behind Steve Comby, taking an absolute great first lap, first timed lap that is, around this circuit here. And let's see what Tomeo Cabrera can do. 20th, and we should also have a time from Pedro Delgado soon. He is in Stowe, should approach the club section every second now. And the sector times so far looking pretty good, as Rick Scott in third place. We're going to stay on Delgado, but Rick Scott has set the fastest first sector, going purple there. Delgado taking third, and yeah, overtaking Rick Scott, who himself now tries to take back that third position and maybe even more. Peter Jones also with a great first sector, not purple, but definitely green. And Rick Scott now through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel onto the Hangar Straight. This looked pretty good. What does the second sector say? No, it was not good. He lost 7/10 there. That was not a good second sector. So maybe there's something good still coming out of this lap, but I would not expect too much unless he can work miracles in that third sector.
And I believe Steve Comby actually just gone faster, actually, 40.536 from him, just under 2/10 quicker. So he's got the gap now to the drivers behind him. But yeah, Peter Jones, as you say, that's something I wasn't expecting. I saw some of his practice times, they looked decent, but they didn't look like anywhere near challenging pole position. Of course, qualifying important because, as I'm sure the regular viewers will know, the top 2 places will get a seats onto the Academy grid for next week's race here at Silverstone. So it's important here to get a good start, because if you qualify in the middle of the pack, obviously, yes, as we've seen in Austria in particular, very chaotic starts, and it's very easy to get your race ruined right at the very beginning of the race if you're caught up in the middle of the pack as a result. And we are also actually just been joined here by Menno Klon, actually. So welcome, Menno. Very nice for you to join us actually here this evening.
Yeah, well, now we have 3 commentators, but yeah, that's actually very good. So yeah, we're watching the qualifying like me, and yeah, you do actually all the work. So I will be there if you want to know something about the driver. Well, I just saw Adrian Faber of Faber. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Go to P3. So we've got a few minutes in this qualifying session. Let's see where it ends. But yeah, hi everybody.
Sure, and if Menno sees something that me and Sebastian potentially miss, I say he'll certainly call it out for sure.
Of course.
As if we go into the last minutes, it's 3.5 minutes just under now to go. But I say Adrian Faber there, P3 as well. He's been looking decent in practice. I saw him do a few laps in practice a few days ago, and he did look quite consistent actually. So I'd have him there for one of the front runners. But in race, as I was saying, your race can be easily ruined if you qualify in the middle of the pack, say P20 around that area, and then you get involved in a big incident here, which can happen actually. It's quite easy to happen, because particularly when you run up to the turn 3 for the first time and the new section, it can be quite a dangerous section. Very easy to bang wheels of a driver and spin, and then a whole massive pile-up happens as a result. Let's go. As Lazarus Philippakos is doing his usual thing of not qualifying during the race, so he's going to have another fun mission to get to the front of the field. It worked out quite well in Canada. I think he finished sort of like around P10 area, but in Austria it didn't work out at all. He got a lag spike, and then he got into an incident as well, and then retired on the first lap. So we'll see what luck he gets there today. And he's been looking really good in practice, actually. I saw him do some laps yesterday. It was in the low 41s. in practice there. That was race pace. So he looking really good, and he'd probably be aiming for that sort of top 10 area
Yes,
itself.
and speaking of a low 41, Taylor Lane is nearing the finish line right now, and he's jumping into 11th place with a 141.4. I've been looking on. I've been looking at him for basically this whole lap. I saw his first sector being better by a 1/10. Then I saw his second sector time, and he improved by 3/10. And so I was pretty certain that he's going to improve on his lap, which he did, with a 1 minute 41.4, 4/10 up on his previous time, and jumping from P17 to P11. So 4/10 in this league right now give you 6 spots.
Yeah, again, super close between all these drivers. As you got the top 10 is covered at the moment. It's 1 second covering the top 13 drivers, I'm trying to say. So again, lovely and close in the pack, and sure that will make for a very interesting race if the race is anything as close to this qualifying session. So we've just got 1 minute left now. People will be on their final runs as a combi at the moment. I'm just going to look now to see if there's any fastest sector times between any of the drivers. We can have a little look. As we have got, who is that? Mika Bakker's going slightly faster in the first sector than Combi. He's in P10 at the moment. He seems to be quite good actually. Actually, that's sector. He's just come up to the second sector now, and he's lost a bit of time. He's set a green sector there, but he's still 4/10 off Steve Combi there, so he's going to come through Stowe corner there as well. Lots of tyre smoke there, a lot of understeer there in the middle of the corner there. He washes out wide as a result. Here he goes now into the chicane now, and the final part here off the lap. Going through the fight again, and lots of understeer there through, and lots of tyre smoke. He loses the back end as a result. So he probably realised it looked like he just threw it off the track there, but that is going to be his session over there. We got Mishlik, he's half a second up.
Sorry to interrupt, but we also have Adrian Faber right now, who is up 2/10 on his. Hold on, give me a second here. What is going on here? Okay, who's 1/10 up on his first sector, just a few 2,000ths of a second up on his second sector. But he's taking it slow to the line. Made a mistake there.
Combi went faster actually. Sorry to interrupt, but he's done a 40.2, and that's probably confirmed the pole position for Combi. I can't see anyone else getting close to that. Peter Jones goes faster, but he's still way off the other drivers there.
Watch Tomo Cabrera as well. He's in for a huge improvement.
Is that P23 is currently going 7/10 faster. This should go over a few places. Again, a lot of understeer through that corner. As he goes up towards the chicane now, he's still about 6/10 up on his current lap time. Let's get through chicane. Looks nice and planted through the exit there. He gets a good run out of here. He should make up a few places. There he goes across the line now. P23 at the moment. Where's this going to put him? P20. And that's a decent result there for him. He'd be a lot happier with that. But it puts him in that, what I call that danger zone at the start. He should be okay. And I think everyone now has finished their lap. Michelik's still on track there, but I think he's finished his. I think everyone now has finished their laps, I believe. So that will be it. So that'll be another new pole sitter for this series. Steve Combi there with 40.2. And the I'll say another new pole sitter, because the good thing is a lot of these drivers who've done the academy race and done the Formula Challenge race, they've actually signed contracts with other teams. So both in Austria and Canada, I think both the top two actually signed a contract with another team. So it's gone really, really well as a result. It just shows this series is working really, really well. And I'll say if you put in the effort and got the speed, you can get rewarded for it.
Yes, definitely. This is what the Academy series was drawn up to be from the very start, and it's great to see that it's actually working out fantastically. We have new drivers in the Formula Challenge who are ready to do exactly that, to challenge in that series after performing very well here. And let's see if maybe we can see Steve Combi or Peter Jones in an FC cockpit soon. But before that, there's going to be the race, because the qualifying is only half the work. Not even half the work, to be honest. At least not here in Silverstone. And on other tracks, it might be, but here in Silverstone, you have quite a few overtaking opportunities, and so it does help to start in the front, but it's not everything. It's not even half.
And as you rightly say, a lot of opportunity to overtake. Just one thing I forgot to mention actually before when I started the broadcast, we are on YouTube for the first time this season. We're currently being live streamed at the Simpit. So feel free to check if you're watching this on Facebook and you maybe want to see what the experience is like on YouTube. Feel free to visit the Simpit YouTube channel, and you can watch on there. So feel free to watch and subscribe on there. So as we go into the warm-up session now, obviously there's going to be a lot of preparations before this now. Because of the chaotic, as you saw actually as well, Menno, in the race at Austria, there was a lot of chaos at the start of Austria. Very, very difficult turn 1. Here we got a very, very difficult turn 3 and like a complex section at the start of the race. Do you think that having an important start here is not only good for your position, but also to avoid that chaos at the early part of the race?
Yeah, I think that's the case. This fourth corner is quite tricky as well, and I fear it might be something happening in turn 1, in turn 2 and 3. So I hope everybody will realize that it's quite a hard turn 1 and the whole stadium section. So they stayed out of trouble, and we will see how it will go. So yeah, I think we will see maybe a few incidents, but yeah, with 30 cars, you will expect kind of incident, because yeah, if you all go for the same piece of road, yeah, only one needs to make a little mistake, go on the grass, and yeah, then it could have could give carnage. So we will see about that. And but mainly what I want to see is how people will go with the tire wear, because I believe you talked yeah, about this before. I think it's not possible to do it without a stop, because I believe the percentage you lose a lap would be 4 or 5% of tire wear a lap, and yeah, with 21 laps it will be very difficult to at least keep some tires in the end, because we have so much high speed corners. So it will be interesting to see what everybody is doing. Of course, you don't need to make a pit stop here in this race, but I think a lot of people will do that. And yeah, if they are going to do it, I think halfway will be, of course, the best way to do it. But yeah, then we might see a rush hour in the pit, so it will be very interesting what people will do. I think there are a lot of people focused on doing a pit stop, but yeah, timing would be very interesting, because yeah, if you go early, you might create an undercut, but on the other hand, you want to be as long as you can within the DRS range, because that will always make you faster. So it will be very interesting how all people will go, and maybe we will have people going for the well, non-stop. But I think in the end it will be quite tricky, because yeah, you will have track advantage, but I think in the end your lap time will be gone the last few laps. So it will be very interesting to see that.
And of course, you got the, as you said about DRS, you got 2 DRS zones here. So we got it down the Wellington Straight and also down the Hangar Straight up towards Stowe Corner as well. And as you said, also there, Menno, we've got 32 cars on the grid. We should have 40. A few people didn't turn up. So if you're watching this and thinking, I fancy a go at this Academy series, I like it. I like looking at some of these races, and I like the way GPV is run. Then you can do. So on Thursday, there will be the sign-ups again will be refreshed for the race at Hungary for 6 weeks' time, and you can sign up from Thursday for the next round at Hungary, and also you can always join the server as well to do the practice at any time while it's open, which is will be for the large majority of the days, at least running up to the event. With 5 minutes to go now, so we are just going to play a little ad break now, and we will see you in a few moments. Hello and welcome back there after a little effort there. I say we got 4 minutes of this session still to go, and people literally just doing practice runs. Now see what their tyre wear is like, maybe do practice pit stops, because that looks like it's going to be very prominent in this race. So Sebastian, one thing I would say about this event, obviously you got the strategies, you know you're going to do pit stops in this race. What would your mindset be, sort of like, to this race? I mean, what do you think if you're near towards the back of the grid? Do you think of trying to do maybe an early pit stop? If maybe it's a one-stop race, maybe try and pit lap 7 or lap 8 and try to jump a few places here?
I think it would be very dependent on what situation you find yourself in after 2, 3, 4 laps. If you are in a position where you can profit off of the DRS, and you basically get at every DRS zone, you have someone in front of you who's giving you the DRS. You try to stay out for as long as you can, because that gives you such a huge advantage. And if you are in a position where you don't have this, you have a gap of over a second to the car in front of you, that's when you can think about maybe doing the pit stop early, going into the pits early. I would think that if you are on a one stop, we might see a few early runners coming in lap 8 that are doing a one stop, but I think most of them we're going to see lap 9, 10, and let's say a bit late 11 and 12. Maybe we also see some people doing 2 stops as part of their strategy, not as some part of maybe accident repair pit stop, but actual strategy. Those would probably come in lap 7 and 14. I don't think it's useful to veer away from that 3/3 division in any way, because it would just slow you down so much to do 6 laps and 8 laps or something like that. So if we have 2 pit stop drivers, they're going to come in 7 and 14. If someone comes in lap 8, I would almost bet that they go for one stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's a logical thing, and I say there's going to be people who chew their tires in the same way that I like to chew on a burger every so often. So, which is more often than most. So it's going to be so you can see a lot of rubber on the side of the track, but now the track's obviously rubbering in as well. That will start to help out with the tyre wear as well, as far as they'll be able to go a little bit longer on their tyres. Which, of course, with 30-odd drivers, 30 drivers going around the circuit through qualifying, that's going to really help out with the conditions. Track temperature, 16 degrees, and the ambient temperature is also 16 degrees as well, so nice and cool. Also, we've got the live weather running as well, so there's going to be nice temperatures. It's been lovely in Britain all day, so there'll be no risk of rain at all. for this race, which is very, very unusual to be honest. But we're used to having to walk through puddles to get to work and everything like that. But no puddles whatsoever today. Just a lovely, lovely, perfect conditions for the drivers out on the circuit.
What happened to the good old British weather?
Oh, we loaned it out. You know, we actually hired the sunshine from Spain. I think that's how. That's how come the UK's in so much debt right now. we just rent the weather for millions of billions of pounds. So
that does make sense. Yes.
Yeah. So so the warm-up session is now ended. While all us Brits are skimming through our pockets to see whether we can keep the sunshine going for a bit longer. As I say, people will just now be loading up their race setups and putting in their race fuel. And I hope everyone has a clean race, but easier said than done, of course, to these people.
Yes, so, and I fear that we're going to see some kind of incident, let's say, at turn 1, because the way I've seen turn 1 unfold in way too many of these Silverstone races, whether it's in reality, in sim racing, whatever game it is that first corner is usually driven at such a speed that it's very easy to spin out there if you have some kind of oversteery car. And if you are the one spinning in turn 1, most likely carnage is going to ensue. So everyone should hopefully be driving very carefully, but even the slightest of contacts in turn 1, totally accidental, unwanted contact can lead to absolute carnage.
Oh, we saw that last round in Austria where someone actually recorded a video after the race, and there was a car after turn 1. There was a car barrel rolling down the straight after turn 1 at Austria. So that was not nice for them, but I must admit it was quite amusing to look at. I'm not going to lie. It's quite a funny thing to look at. But of course, we missed it on the broadcast at the time. But there was a lot of incident at Austria. So,
those are the moments where you're pretty happy that you're only driving virtually and not real.
Well, it's a good job when you see that happening in your mirror, thinking I've not got caught up in all of that lot. So you're just driving up the road with a massive smile at your face if you've missed it. Also,
that's even better. Yes, but, even if you get caught up, you could always just stand up from your chair and be like, "I'm okay. Nothing happened to me." The race might be over, which is sad, but.
We just got our race director for this evening, Chris Butcher. He is setting up the grid, making sure everyone's in the right position and ready for the race. And we've got our cameraman this evening and our broadcaster, Garrett de Vries, as well. He will be keeping up with the action with the cameras. As I said, we got myself, Sebastian, and Menno talking you through all the action as it unfolds. So as we're just going to wait now for the session to move over to the race grid. Have any of you got any predictions for the race? I say Combi did look really, really good out there.
Yeah, he looked very, very strong, and I think he's the favorite for the race. But of course, strategy will play a key, and I think, Peter Jones will have a chance. And I think, we'll have 4 or 5 guys that will potentially have the little bit of the edge on pace to win it, maybe more depending on strategy. So it will be interesting. Yeah. But I guess after that qualifying lap, and the way those laps came at Combi, it came very easy. I think he's a favorite. But I'm not going to curse somebody or give it the commentator's curse, because every time I do that, that guy crashes, so I will not say more.
It happened once or twice last time we did it, Menno, at Austria, I seem to remember. What about yourself there, Sebastian? If you could put a 5 on it, what would you go for?
Look, since Menno doesn't want to, I'm going to do it then. And I'm going to name 2 drivers that I think are going to do very well. I think Pedro Delgado and Rick Scott are 2 drivers that we really have to look out for. They have the experience. They've competed in races like these before, and we've seen them do well. And so I think they not only do they have the pace, Delgado starting in P3, Rick Scott in P5, but they also have the experience to navigate through the field if there is some kind of accident ahead of them, which I don't think there will be, because they are starting so far ahead, so far up the field. But even if, I think they can navigate the field pretty well. I don't know, probably Steve Comby, Peter Jones, and Adrian Faber, and Montes Recus, Joshua Penny, and the guys a bit further behind can do as well. But I've seen it from these two, from Delgado and Scott before. And so these are like my safest bets, if you will.
That's good stuff. I'm going to go for Pedro Delgado. I think he has been really impressive this season. And I want two people I'm going to say watch out for is Taylor Lane from P14. He was doing brilliant in Austria until he had a crash into the pit wall. And also, of course, at the back, Lazarus Philippakos making his way through the field. So I'm just going to very quickly run through the grid. So P1, Steve Comby, alongside him in Peter Jones. Then row 2, it's going to be Delgado and Adrian Faber. Row 3, Rick Scott and Mantis Recus. Row 4, we've got Joshua Penny and Alexander Rigossa. Row 5, we've got Ruben van den Hudding and Kasper Michalak. Row 6, it's be Danny Dam, and alongside him, Mika Bakker. Those two always seem to be together on track. And we've got a spinner. We have got a spinner on the circuit. Who is that?
We have
That's
two
Mantis
cars.
Recus.
Yeah, we also had two cars that collided during the warm-up lap. We got Linus Lundvall and Jose Luis Labrado. I don't know how these two got together. Place 26 and 32. There should be 5 other drivers between them, but for some reason they collided, and they're both going to start from the pit lane.
That is absolutely really silly, but I'll get back to the grid while I can. Ben Borman and Taylor in row 7. Jus van der Stoep and Jared van der Velde in the row 8. Eric Stanford and Theodoros Izuroglu in row 9. Scott Bennett and Tomio Cabrera, row 10. Robert Strachan and Christoph Lichtenstein, row 11. Tom Voss and Kenneth Ragland, row 12. Ali and Morado is going to be doing row 13 by himself. Marcel Bohr, Johan van Duren, row 14. Simon Marshall, Jan Polak, row 15, all by himself at the back. Lazarus Philippakos as Jose Luis Labrada is in the pits after that incident. So we're just going to be waiting now for the lights to start now. Here we go. Here goes 3 lights. 4, 5 lights as the launch control is on. Overtime, and away they go. And it's been a great start there for Peter Jones. A slow start there from Steve Comby. They're 3 wide. Going into turn 1 on the grass. This one car. It's going to be contact there between him and Delgado as they run up towards turn 3 for the first time. Here we go. It's going to be quite messy. And there's a lunge. A huge lunge there from Rigotta. So he's made up a load of places. There's contact there. Faber's going to roll it almost. And he's going involved there from Van der Hudding. As they all carry on. There's chaos at the back of the field as well. I can see a couple of cars spinning around. Tom Voss has got involved with that. Lundvall, Ragland, and Labrada, the people stuck at the back of the field, have also got involved in that as well. But at the front is Peter Jones. He's got ahead of Steve Comby at the start. They're running nose to tail as they go round the hairpin for the first time and down the old pit straight here as they go towards Cops for the first time. Rick Scott in P3, Delgado P4, and Joshua Penny rounding up the top 5 with Recus right behind him. But what a chaotic start, guys.
Wow, that's a really chaotic start. And yeah, we got some losers. We've got Marcel Boer now in last position without a front wing. Danny Dam was caught up to it. Let's see. Tom Voss is quite on the rear of the pack, as does Christoph Lichtenstein. Let's see if we've got more people with damage. Yeah, we've got Scott Bennett without a front wing. We need to pit Mika Bakker without a front wing. Joost van der Stoep without a front wing, and Joost van der Stoep will not be happy with it because yeah, he trained very hard for it. He showed good pace, so he already needs to go to the pits. So yeah, a lot of damage, but a lot of yeah, guys with good start. So.
And we have some more people coming into the pits right now. We have Taylor Lane entering the pits at the end of lap 1. We've got Theodoros Ezuroglu into the pits. Who else is coming in? Let me look. Jos van der Stoep, Mika Bakker, Scott Bennett. Oh my god, this is a lot of drivers in the pits right
Marcel
now.
Ball as well just entered the pits. A few nose jobs been done there, that's for sure. Look at that lot, 6 of them. They should be selling food in the pit lane. Oh, that was nearly a contact in the pits as well. Between Taylor Lane, he's had his race ruined. I said watch out for him, and I've obviously cursed him right from the start. But here we go, right back at the front now, as we got Peter Jones leading the way. Steve Comby in his slipstream, going up towards Cops again for the second time in this race with Rick Scott following both of them ahead. And they look, those three are looking really good for the for at least the top 2 places. I also say top 2 places because that's the rewarding positions from this race. As long as you know top 2, that is all that matters from
Yes,
there.
but now that the dust has settled, if you will, this is where the strategy comes into play, and I'm not too sure that we're going to see Peter Jones and Steve Comby being 1 and 2.
Big crash from Ben Burman, by the way.
Oh yeah, he spun down just under the bridge, actually, as we go through the hangar straight for the second time, as he was in this. Okay, so Rekkers had a very slow exit out of the chicanes there, and Borman basically turned very violently to the left, and he lost the back of the car as a result, and he waxed the wall on the left-hand side and sent spinning like a top all the way around that straight. So that has been an absolute disaster for him, and quite unnecessary as well, as he's crabbing now all the way down. He's going to be crabbing to the pits, and I know why. I don't understand why he did such a big reaction, because he wasn't right behind Rekas there. It was just a bit of an amateur error, really, as he's seen crabbing all the way to the pit lane, and that is his race ruined. And that's going to take a very, very long time for him to repair that car. But as I say, front 3 again. Still the same order, and we've got Delgado and Penny trying to catch them up, so it's almost hopefully a 5-car battle for the lead very, very soon. And I've been in this position before. When I won my first race many years ago, it's exactly the same as away from that. Rick Scott's down inside of Jones.
Oh, this is tight!
And he's gone from 3rd to 1st. 3rd to 1st now. Rick Scott takes the lead. He's been patient the first couple of laps. And now he's decided to put the hammer down now, as he's going to be... DRS is now enabled, of course. So down the straight now, Rick Scott leads. We've got Peter Jones dropping back a little bit, and then back for P4. Delgado and Joshua Penny side by side. Going into Stowe. They keep
Penny around the outside, but he goes a bit too far.
Yeah.
Now he has the inside for the club section, and...
Delgado got a bit of lag there as a result.
Yeah?
Yeah, he definitely dropped back a little bit there unexpectedly. It looked like on my screen anyway that he's got that, but still a great scrap up front. I say now Peter Jones has dropped back now. Maybe his tyres have already started to go. I mean, I didn't expect him so far forward, and he's dropped back a bit now, and maybe he's already starting to feel. What's this lap 4 now? We've just started.
But what you can see is that Peter Jones is actually very aggressive on his front tire, so I expect that them to were quite fast. And yeah, Peter Jones now in P4, and well, his brother, that's Joshua Penny. Well, they don't have the same name, but yeah, Joshua Penny we knew before as Joshua Jones, and his brother is Peter Jones. So it will be very interesting what the brothers can do now in P3 and P4. Well, we've still got a great fight, of course, for the lead. We still have Rick Scott in the lead, but yeah, we have got a big straight now coming with DRS for Mr. Comby. So let's see if we can pass Rick soon.
Yeah, possibly. He looks a bit far back, so as long as Rick Scott keeps it clean. There's a bit of tyre smoke there from his car, but he looks like he can keep it clean. It's a great battle behind, actually, but actually for P6 with Ragotza, but mainly behind them, we've got Rekkers and Van der Velde there for P7 there at the moment. And they're just going down straight. And behind them, we've got Cabrera and Michalak. Let's go down the straight. We've got Van der Velde around the outside. Oh, it's going to be close. Oh, yeah, that's a nice little move there from Van der Velde there. As, oh, nearly loses it. Rekkers there. He lost the back end there. Tyre smoke from his car. Got a bit of oversteer. Looks like the traction control saved him there. Michelak now looking to capitalise as a result from that.
Yes, and Van der Weide did leave a bit too much space, I feel like. He could have taken that corner a bit tighter than he actually did, even with Rekus being on the inside of him. But he still got the job done, got into P7, so that was a very great move, even though there was some potential to make it even easier. But if the job is done, the job is done. It's that simple.
That's it. Get the job done and move on to the next job. As speaking of getting the job done, Michelak down the inside of Racus there as he defends now for the hairpin there. And just one thing I did notice: there's a lot of retirements in this race already. So Jose Luis Labrada was first DNF, and Danny Dam is out. Marcel Bohr is out. Christoph Lichtenstein is already out. The most experienced driver on the grid. Jan Polak and Ruben van den Hudding are also DNFs already from the race.
Well, the two brothers are very close now, going onto the main straight. It's Joshua Penny now in P3 and Peter Jones in P4, but Peter Jones will now have the DRS on his brother. Let's see if he can retake P3 now. Well, we also should mention we've got some great big climbers after the start. We've got well, Adrian Faber was starting from P4, but yeah, went down for a lot of places, but he's now actually moving up again and now is in P10. Well, we've got Tomo Cabrera, who I think started around P20, now already in P11. So those are a few of the climbers after the first lap.
And don't forget our main climber here, Lazarus Filipakos, starting from 31st all the way back, second last position, now in 13th. He flipped the numbers from 31 to 13, 18 spots gained. And I'm pretty sure he's not done there.
Oh no, he's going to be trying to put the magnets now on Eric Stanford now, but he's just done it again. He avoided the chaos at the start. Made up 18 places as a result. As we're on, let's say 6th lap now, so he's going to be in for that top 10. That is for sure. Just hope he gets the tyres, keeps the tyres in check, and moves up through the field as a result of that. But a very spread out field actually. If you look down further down the grid, there's P18 who's actually just all by himself. He's got no one near in front and no one near behind. That's Linus Lundvall. But the grid is so far spread out.
Yeah, and we have a fight between place 3, 4, and 5, the two brothers and Pedro Delgado fighting it out like crazy. And now Delgado is looking. Oh, and there's hard blocking from Peter Jones right there. That is very tough defense. And now the brothers are colliding and spinning out.
Oh my goodness me!
And Pedro Delgado is taking both spots. As Peter Jones drops down all the way to P7.
I think what Peter Jones was doing there, he was so worried about what Delgado was doing, he wasn't really focused too much on what Joshua Penny was doing in front of him. So he just hit the obviously they rubbed tyres at the apex, and well, there is that saying about brotherly love. There's not going to be much of that between them after the race, I'm sure. But as a result, Delgado up to P3, Ragosa is up to P4 now, and he started about P10 on the grid. He's done a great job. Penny now drops to P5. Van der Velde P6. Peter Jones now down to 7th. Michelak now looking to capitalise on the two in front of him. And then behind them we've got Faber and Rekus, whose Faber's making a move. He's up to P9. He's past Rekus now. So Rekus now starting to drop back a little bit through the field. As a result, that is your top 10. And at the front, still shadowing each other at the front, Rick Scott and Steve Comby, as they're just miles ahead of the rest of the field now in a fight all by themselves. So they can just take it easy now. They're not going to, of course. If they want to, they can just take it easy for a few laps and save the tyres.
Yeah, not really, I think, because there's still Pedro Delgado in 3rd. He's 6 seconds behind, but he is a good driver. And if they start taking it easy, he's going to approach them, and he knows how to overtake. He knows how to gain the position, and so this is what he would do. So they do not have any time to spare here. especially considering that we still have the pit stops to come.
They do, and speaking of pit stops, we're actually going to start lap 8 now. So people are, or will at least be thinking about pit stops now. But the good thing is about Rick Scott and Combi, they can control the pace at the front if they so what. But Delgado is going to be going like a bat out of hell trying to catch them up. That is for sure. So I'm just going to scroll down a bit further down the field. We've got a nice little battle now between Eric Stanford and Lazarus Philippakos for P11 here. So Lazarus made up another place. He runs wide. He nearly loses the back of the car through turn 1 and turn 2 there, but he recovers it nicely and did very well not to spin out as a result there. That's the closest battle at the moment on the track. No one in the pits yet, actually, so I reckon it'll be going to be the next lap or 2 for pit stops.
We had a early stopper actually in Kenneth Ragland, so I guess he's on a 2-stop strategy. He already went 2 laps ago, so let's see what he can do. But I fear he needs to go for another pit stop if his tire wear is as high as I expect. So yeah, I think the rest of the guys who are going to make a pit stop will go. I think the earliest opportunity will be this lap, or maybe yeah, in the next 2 or 3 laps. But they can do it depending on what they of course want to do with the strategy. So yeah, if you pit later, you have better tires in the end. But yeah, you need to make sure you will have of course a good lap time in lap 10, 11 and 12, not to lose too much there. So.
Ooh, and sorry to make that noise there, but Combi nearly loses it actually going through the chicane at the end of the lap, and nearly spun the car there, but he recovered it nicely, and he's still, you know, he doesn't have to panic. He can just maintain it. Obviously, you've got Delgado there as well behind, and he is setting fast. He's personal best there, 41.7 this last lap. Combi ahead of him, a 42.4, so he's closing the gap to Combi at least. Rick Scott's sort of maintaining the gap between himself and Delgado, but Combi with that mistake, I think he lost quite a bit of time. The gap now between Rick Scott and Pedro Delgado, 7 seconds between first and third now. So still a nice, comfortable gap for the 2 leaders. As we've got a nice battle behind here, a bit of contact though. Faber, Recus, and Peter Jones here for P8. So Jones is actually dropping down the field even more. He was in P7 a minute ago. He's got DRS now on Recus as it overtakes around the outside. Nice easy pass. Recus runs wide as well. He's probably in the next postcode after that he completely missed the apex altogether. And Stanford and Philippakos now closing in on the cars in front. So a very good job between those guys to close in on the cars, particularly Lazarus Philippakos. And in P12, it's just been an outstanding drive again from him, the same as he did in Canada, pretty much, and again performing outstandingly. So as he's just coming again to complete the 9th lap, still not pitting, so it looks like, to me, it's going to be they're going to stay out there as long as they can. At the moment, again, no one else is going to. Just looking down the field a little bit now, P4, P5, they're still racing on. So it might be a very, very late call that these people are just going to go for as long as they can on these tyres. And then pit if they have to.
Oh, we got Faber.
Yeah, we got Faber. Speaking of pit stops, Adrian Faber's the first man to pit. So we're going to keep an eye on this pit stop here now from P8. And let's see where he falls back. To. So he was 19 seconds behind the leader when he pitted. So let's see how long this pit stop is going to take him and where he falls into.
I think for Faber it will be very important not to get into traffic. If he doesn't get into traffic, he potentially can create an undercut and potentially can jump 1 or 2 guys ahead of him if they are going to make the pit stop. But we will see that later while Faber is just out of the pits.
So I'm just doing a time there. He lost about 23 seconds in the pit stops there. He's ahead. He's just behind LA and Morado, who for once has not caused an incident on the broadcast, which is a nice little change because he's caused a bit of chaos in the first 2 races of the year. But Faber comes out in P15, and he's on that fresh rubber now. He's going to be looking to finish the race on these tyres, I would have thought. So that is a nice move for him, and he's come out in no traffic whatsoever. One more retirement as Tom Voss has retired from the race. He retired in the 5th lap of this race, so another bad result for him, as I think he DNF'd in the last race as well at Austria. Obviously different conditions altogether back then.
Well, we've got number 3, Pedro Delgado in pits. Let's see if we will see any more.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Important pit stop. He's obviously looking for the undercut. He's looked at the front two and said, "Whatever they do, I'm going to pit in, and hopefully we'll get a bit of an undercut on these guys." So don't be surprised to see the two leaders pit.
A lot of people pitting.
Rfactor and Van der Velde, they're racing each other. So I think this is the pit stop we're going to keep an eye on now. Rfactor pits in. Van der Velde there pits in as well.
Stanford in.
Is that Philippakos as well? No, it's Peter Jones and also Eric Stanford. Also in the pits as well as Delgado comes up. P6 Van der Velde jumps Rfactor in the pits. So he's made the pass coming out the pit lane. He's just a second quicker there. It makes all the difference. But Peter Jones has had a terrible pit stop. He's come out way behind Eric Stanford. Now down in pit, he's made pit stop, of course.
Yeah, what happened is that Peter Jones wanted to pit, but there was somebody standing in his pit slot, so he needed to wait for that other driver. So it wasn't his fault that this pit stop took so long. So, but that's the risk actually, to have so many cars and limited pit boxes available. So he needed to wait for it and lost a lot of time because of.
He did indeed. And I'll tell you what, it's a good job it didn't take no longer, because look at the battle behind. We got Eri Roglu there, Taylor Lane, Van der Stoep and Nina Silva, and they've been scrapping away last few corners. Start a lap there, it was side by side through there, so that has been important for Peter Jones to actually get out in front and get on that fresh rubber and start to make moves up through the field.
Yes, and Rick Scott and Steve Comby stay out for another lap, so they have completed 11, go for the 12th now. They are trying to take these tires for quite some time, as Steve Comby is sliding into turn 3 and almost spinning his car, but he's still behind Rick Scott there. Didn't lose too much time, interestingly. I thought he would lose a lot more from this than he did, and Philippakos and Michalak are now in the pits. Michalak with a great pit stop right there. And Johan van Doorn also comes in. Michalak is going to rejoin on track in P8, just behind Ragoza and Van der Weide. And let's see, Philippakos in 10th.
Yeah, he's got ahead of Eric Stanford there. So he's made up places through the pit stops.
So
a little overcut, huh?
We've got Rick Scott and Steve Comby really close, so I think those tires are really pretty much done for. So I expect both of the front runners coming in this lap, but I think they might push it one lap too far, and I think they're actually losing quite a lot of time. Of course, they had a lot of seconds on the number 3, but this is actually costing them.
Yeah, but the number 3, Joshua Penny, also hasn't been in the pits, so the actual driver they're racing against is Pedro Delgado as their... No! Steve Comby is staying out again!
And the magic number, Pedro Delgado is 24 seconds behind Rick Scott here, so this is important because it's around that sort of number to make a pit stop. So it's going to be tight here, as Steve Comby leads the race.
And Joshua Penny, sorry to interrupt, but Joshua Penny also stays out. What is going on? How far are they going to try to take these tires?
It's going to be close. Rick Scott is just left his pit box. Delgado's going to head on to the main straight now. He's just crossing the finish line now. I think Scott's just going to...
Yes, he's going to stay ahead, but it's going to be close. It's not the 7 seconds that Delgado was behind before the pit stop. It's much less.
About 3 seconds now between the two. So Steve Comby is in a predicament here because the gap between himself and Delgado is 22 seconds. And that's going to be coming down. By the end of the lap, you're talking around the sort of 20-second mark. So he could very easily not only lose the lead, which he had the lead briefly, but I think he's in P2. He could very easily lose P2 here. And that gap's now 19.9 between himself and Delgado, and 17.6 between him, Comby, and Rick Scott.
Yeah, you can already see with Joshua Penny, who's also, didn't go to the pits. He's much faster on the last 2 laps than Combi. So let's see what he does in this sector. Yeah, I already
seems-
gained a lot of seconds on Combi. I
Wow.
think Combi needs to go now or it will kill him.
Yeah, that was 2 seconds in
He's
a
got a
sector.
problem. He's out of fuel.
Is he out of fuel?
No, he's not out of fuel, but he's slowed right down. I'm just gonna go and replay. He's slowed right down the straight, almost like under the bridge.
It's fuel. It's
And
fuel.
it looked like he's out of fuel or something. So he's completely wrecked his race by not filling up the tank, and that is a disaster. How did he? I mean, he must have had the notification about his fuel, and just under the bridge, he just completely coasted. So now he's got to try and get back in his pit box. Now he's in the pit box now. He's going to flip the fuel, but what an absolute disaster there for Steve Combi, and he's completely ruined his chance of a race victory here. There's Penny now leads. Rick Scott in P2. He's masterfully getting his way through the traffic. Salgado is now back. Markers are now going to get involved, which is danger time as far as the leaders are concerned. They've caused chaos in both of the races so far. Hopefully it's going to behave themselves again today. Combi comes out in P4, but he's miles behind. He goes over the sausage curb there. Rides the sausage there like an absolute pro. As he leaves turn 4, as he goes onto Wellington Straight. That is an absolute disaster.
Honestly, the one I'm looking at right now is our current, and I try to stress that as much as I can, race leader Joshua Penny, who has been going for 14 laps now, not entered the pits. Is he trying to go for the no stop?
Yes, I
no.
think so.
No,
I think so. Well, what I see, he's not locking up. It's like he planned this, or yeah, he might go right now. But yeah, what I see, I think he might go for a no stop. But let's see what he will do. Will he go pit now?
Oh no, he goes in. He goes in. Okay.
That's it, mate. You're might as well pitting now.
I think he's been too fast into the pits. I think he didn't slow down in time.
Let's have a look. Has he got a? I think he's okay. We'll
No,
find out when he leaves the pits.
I think he's not actually, so it will be interesting. So
I think he's in his pit box now. Let's see what happens. Anyway, he's very, very close. But I was gonna say, get in the pits now, Josh, because your dinner's getting cold.
yes.
But he's gonna leave the pits P3, so he's gained.
Yes. He's got a drive-through penalty, which shows just Joshua Penny will do a drive-through. Will need to do a drive-through penalty, which isn't well that costly, of course, with this strange entering of the pit straight. But yeah, it will still cost him a few positions.
So Combi at the moment will not realise, but in the next lap or two, he's going to breathe a huge sigh of relief. And Joshua Penn is going to be really kicking himself as a result of that, because he got third place in his hands. He didn't need to drive into the pit lane so fast and run that risk. There's obviously a lapse of concentration there, and now he's going to lose P3 as a result because Combi's not so far behind, which is a real shame for Josh. He's driven brilliantly so far, but he's going to lose that podium position.
And yeah. And he's not just gonna lose P3. He's gonna drop down to, as he is going very aggressive there through Maggots and Beckett's. Yeah, that was a bit too much. Maybe he gets another penalty for that. I don't know how. You guys got to tell me. But he's losing P3 on the track now, almost, and he's gonna. Looking at the standings right now, he's gonna lose P4, P5. He's going to drop down probably all the way down to P9, P10.
There's battle behind, actually. Sorry to change the subject. We've got Ragosa, Van der Velde, Michalak. They're going back past Mark. That's just for the Pacos here. P8. He's ahead of Adrian Faber now, and because of Joshua Penny's penalty, is this a stop-go?
It's a stop-go because the pit lane is pretty short, so you will not lose a lot with it. So I think the game will now, instead of making it a drive-to, made it a stop-go. So that's track related, because you actually you'll nearly gain something with a drive-to. So yeah, that's
it
why
does
it is a stop-go.
He's going to come out in P13. So as a result, I mean, he's going to be absolutely gutted inside. But this big scrap between P4 and P8 at the moment. It's a big long snake. It's not really a battle so much, but it's going to get pretty tasty, I think, in a few laps to go here. We go to P4, Michalik P5, Vanderbilt P6.
We got
Philip
Stanford
Backoff.
with a spin.
Oh yeah,
Actually.
Stanford spun into the gravel trap through what was the old last corner many years ago now, but that was
There was a collision between Stanford ran into the back of Linus Lundvall, a lapped car here. That was very unfortunate, but I feel like he kind of.
Yeah, Linus couldn't really do much about that. It's just Eric Stanford taking too much speed into the corner, and just it's unlucky really because he only just tapped the rear of the car of Linus's car, but it was enough to send himself spinning into the gravel. But as we look at the front now, Rick Scott and Pedro Delgado, 1.8 seconds, 1.4 now as they cross the line. Rick Scott has got to be sweating in that helmet of his right now, considering how big a lead he had. What would you going through your mind, mate? Because you've won races here at GPVWC before. What would you be going through right now?
Well, yeah, if I was Rick Scott, I would know, yeah, only a few laps to go, and yeah, that it potentially could be your day, but you don't want to think too much about it because, yeah, you're leading, and yeah, I actually won here once here in Silverstone. I believe it was my first GPVWC win, and yeah, with a few laps to go, you're already going to think about, oh, I'm going to win this, but you need to stop that away. You need to focus, and yeah, then you get into that focus mode. So I think that is what is going through Rick's mind. He needs to stay focused, and he can potentially win it, but he knows that Pedro is still hunting for him, and yeah, Pedro can still yeah, do it. And yeah, if we look at Pedro, he looks very good into Maggots and Baggots, so it will be, I think, a really good fight until the end. So we're not done yet. Well, we've got yeah, Steve Comby now in P3, who I think will be a bit disappointed after yeah, seeing yeah, the other two are only 9.1 seconds yeah, in front of him. So yeah, but yeah, you can still get a point.
As I was going to say, it's going to be about a second as they cross the line here, and of course when we're now entering sort of DRS territory now for Pedro Delgado, he has got the ultimate incentive now to put on the start turning on the magnets and going for it. But the battle behind as well is really firing up. We got Michalak has now passed Ragoza. He's up to P4 Michalak. We got Van der Velde, who's now right on the back now and looking down the inside to turn one. This is going to be dangerous stuff as they go into turn one. Contact between the two. I could see it coming a mile away as he goes spinning around and around Van der Velde there. He went for the move and he's lost out big time as a result. As we got Ragoza carried on, I think Faber ran off the track there, but you just see it coming a mile away. As soon as he looked down the inside, you just think, no, no, no. And he goes for it anyway. So down to P9 now with, it looks like he's got a damaged car as well as Jared Van der Velde as a result of that. But look at that. Michelin Al's just running away with it. That's just Philip Backoff has spun it. Oh, he's in P6 as well. Don't reach. Oh, that was dodgy. But he's still in P8. He's done an amazing job. He was in P6 a minute ago as there's a car there running wide as well. But Philip Backoff is going to be slightly frustrated at that, but he still gives himself a huge amount of credit, I think. One of the drivers of the day for sure. But Rick Scott's actually pulled away half a second from Pedro Delgado here, so the pressure's been eased a bit. Because we're on the 18th lap here at the moment, just about to start the 19th lap of this race. It'll be free to go as we cross the line.
It was like everybody said to themselves, like, it's now lap 18. We still have...
Sorry to interrupt, but Van der Velde's almost lost it going into the Maggots complex there. He's going through the gravel and now the grass. He's done a bit of a Joshua Penny there. As he now rejoins now in P10. It was all by himself. There's no assist at all. He just literally lost it. He almost like hit a bump in the back of the car. Went around as a result. Sorry to interrupt there.
Yeah, well, it looked like everybody thought like, oh, it's now lap 18. If we want to at least move up some positions, we need to attack now while we still have, yeah, something left of the tires. I think a lot of people at least try to force the issue, like we saw in turn one, to like just to make the pass. But yeah, it didn't work there. So yeah, we've got a few laps to go. let's see how the tire will hold in the end. We had some early stoppers. Will they get hurt in the end, or will they just be fine?
We will soon find out, as we're looking now at 1.5 seconds now between Rick Scott and Delgado. So the gaps has, you could say, it's a bit of a safety buffer now for Rick Scott. He's
Well, yeah, I believe we have a game crash of Rogozza. I mean, I don't see him in the game.
Oh really? Oh, let's have a look. That would be an awful shame if that is the case.
And it's the case. He's
He has
retired.
retired. Oh my goodness! I mean, P4 is running out. P5, and he gets a disconnect or a game crash or something right in the lead. He's going to be gutted because he's driven so well. His debut here in the series, in the Academy series, his first round here. He's got a bright future, and hopefully he will bounce back and get a at least do another round late this year because he's got potential for sure. He's driven really, really well.
Yeah, we need to say that that was actually a guy with a lot of potential. This was his first race, and let's see what he can do in the future. Let's hope he returns at least. We will not actually forget what he did like with pace. So yeah, just if he continues like this, I think we will see him back. Yeah, maybe on the podium one day here in the Academy.
Just saw a car run wide at turn you there, but it's just a back marker getting out of the way. Actually, no, was it? I don't think so.
It's Faber.
Yeah, it's Faber.
Oh,
yeah,
and he's going to try on Jones.
At least look at these two scrapping away now for P5 as they're going for, we got this lap and then the last lap next time around, so 2 laps to go now. So they're going to be going for it now, banging tyres and everything now. As Jones and Faber keep waltzing on through these corners now in sector 2, and they're going to come to a back marker very soon as well, so they're going to have to get things sorted. Just an update on the gap at the front. It's now 2 seconds, so it looks like now Rick Scott's going to have a comfortable run to the flag, barring any mistakes, of course. That will interrupt that progress. But yeah, Faber's now dropped back as well, and he's got Philippakos right behind him as they go up to the Beckett's complex here. Philippakos has passed with a great move there. He got the run out of Cops, and he's made it through. So P31 up to P6. That is a brilliant performance. He's only 26 seconds as well behind the leader. So to get through all the traffic, through all the incident, he's been absolutely brilliant this afternoon.
And he even spun, so it could have been even better for Lazarus Philippakos. So yeah, he shows that he's actually one of the faster guys. And yeah, if I can get to give an advice to the FC team managers, I think this guy is up for hiring. And yeah, so if you want to get an idea which driver you should hire, you could look at Lazarus, because how he is jumped up, it's quite impressive.
There you are, GPV Tinder has spoken right there. Get messaging Lazarus right now and give him a drive because he deserves it. That is what I'm going to say. But Rick's got now 2 seconds in the lead, half a lap to go now, as he is going to no trouble in front of him at all. And I was just going to say, don't do a Steve Comby and run out of fuel on the last lap for Christ's sake, or run out of fuel running up to the end of your stint. But Delgado's closing up. Delgado is closing up, isn't he? He's now down to 9 tenths. DRS, so he's lost a second from somewhere, probably just through Cops up to the run up to Maggots and Beckett's there.
I think he's taking it a bit easy, but he's losing more and more. But I think he can manage it, and if Rick Scott can win, it would be something, because Rick Scott is quite a long member of GPVWC. It would be something.
Close.
A new chapter for him.
Rick Scott is going to do it, isn't he? Here he goes, run up to line. Rick Scott takes the win here by 0.2 of a second. Brilliant drive there from Rick Scott, just managing the situation there at the end perfectly. Delgado will get P2, and those two will be driving for the Academy team next week here at Silverstone. Congratulations to them both. Steve Comby will be absolutely sick as a pig. He's in P3, still on the podium, but he's just going to hope now that someone else gives him a drive for next round. Casper Michalak being very impressive here on his debut in P4. Peter Jones in P5, Lazarus Philippakos, my driver today, there in P6, Adrian Faber P7, Jared Vandervelde here, he's going to be crossline P8 with Stanford right behind him. Joshua Penny, again, another driver who's going to be quite annoyed, he's in P10. Robert Strachan P11, he's done a good job, he's been a consistent runner this series. He's never qualified too well, but he's done pretty well in the races. And this is his best result of the season so far. Rakus and Taylor Lane there fighting across the line. P12-13. Ezra 14. And Johan van Doren rounding up the top 15.
And there's still a fight going on between P17 Tomeo Cabrera and P18 Simon Marshall. They're fighting to the line here.
Ooh.
But Cabrera takes P17 and Simon Marshall P18.
Yeah, Simon Marshall there, the rookie Monsters driver in P18 there, literally having his nose chopped right off over the line, but a great little wrap there in the end. DNFs, as I say, was Ragoza, Tom Voss, Ruben van den Hooding, Jan Polak, Christoph Lichtenstein, Marcel Bohr, Danny Dam, and Jose Luis Labrada. So, a very, very interesting race there. Great race, I think. You know, been a lot of action, a lot of things to talk about, for certain. For the at least until Hungary, at least. Thoughts on that?
Yes, and can I just remind you, David, of who said at the start of this race or before this race that Rick Scott and Pedro Delgado are going to be the two guys to watch?
You very much did, yeah.
I did not expect them to do that well. That they go 1 and 2. I usually, when I try to do these kind of predictions, most of the time I'm terribly wrong. I don't see it as commentator curse. I just see it as, I don't know, bad luck. But it's great to see for once that my prediction is on point. So I gladly take that.
Well, yeah, I actually would have said the same thing, but I wouldn't curse them. So that's why.
Okay.
No.
I see.
I just hope you two don't predict my future. You know, as a racer or commentator or anything like that. You know, I'm just, I'm stood here. You know,
but maybe I do have the counter curse.
I'm waiting for you two to fire me.
No, but maybe I have the counter curse to Menno's curse.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. Commentary duo there for the future. At least everyone will be safe as long as they're both together. So, very interesting, and congratulations there, as I say, to Rick Scott and Pedro Delgado for winning and coming second, I should say. We don't have anyone who finished near the front, at least, or finished in a good position to have an interview with, which is unfortunate. But so we can play some. Actually, if we're waiting for them, we could play a couple of adverts, and let you guys calm down at home. So we'll be a few moments with the ads. Hello, guys, and welcome back to the broadcast. We haven't got too many people here to interview, but there's one person that I am going to drag into the room here, and that's going to be Lazarus Philippakos, my driver of the day for sure. Had a little bit of a spin, but managed to recover to a very, very respectable position at the end of the race there. So, Lazarus, brilliant drive, brilliant drive. Obviously, you do your usual thing. Don't bother to qualify. You know, you'd like to save the fuel bill and everything there. But what a brilliant drive, and well done avoiding the chaos as well at the start.
Well, I didn't exactly avoid it. I also had to spin, but I went for a cheeky move. What that didn't help, but oh well. Started getting the places, had some fun. Good
Yeah,
driving.
and that is the main thing there, having fun, of course. You know, I mean, lots of overtakes you made there. Of course, you had that little spin as well going towards the end of the race there. I think you were making a move. I can't remember who it was on now. I think it was P6
really
at the time. P6 at the time, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was going for the move, but the guy break the loop duel got me up, and I locked the brakes and spun. Didn't want to hit the rear of him.
So it's a bit of a shame, but again, great drive. And I did say to people that you should be one of the guys considered for a seat because you've driven, you know, you had bad luck in Austria. We all know what happened there, but you've driven great at Canada. You had a little bit of a spin there, but still recovered to get in the top 10 there. Top 10 again today. Was it P6, P7, wasn't it?
P6.
P6. You know, you can't ask more than that. So I think if you're some teams out there should be definitely contacting you there for a drive. If not, obviously we've got the Academy Series again in 6 weeks' time at Hungary. But very well done, Lazarus. And I wish you the best for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
That's fine. So that is our interview there with Lazarus Philippakos there. He's done a brilliant job this evening. So I just want to get last thoughts on it, guys, really. I mean, we've seen a few of these drivers now for a few races now. Particularly both yourselves, you've both done commentary as well. Is there anyone in particular that you think, do you know what? They've actually got a really good shot here of having a great future here at GPVWC and going really far?
Well, I think there are a few. I think we've got a lot of young guys. I think Peter Jones showed at least he was quite fast today, but yeah, couldn't show it on the track in the fuel race distance. But I think he will be a guy for the future, Peter Jones. I think Steve Comby had a bit of bad luck. I think run out of fuel, but he showed that he is really a guy we will see back in the future. I think also with good results in FC, so we need to look out for him. Then of course we've got Lazarus, which he's the first introduction. He's just the Superman of the Academy series, and I think the other one that was quite good, I think was Adrian Faber. He made I think a few mistakes, but I think he was quite good as well. And of course, numbers 1 and numbers 2, Scott and Delgado did a good job. But let's see what they will end. Of course, they will be in the FC if they want to drive it. Of course, so we shall see what it will bring. And very interesting.
That's good thoughts there, Menno. And Sebastian, if you was a team owner now and you had to sign up one driver, who would it be?
I've got 2 drivers I'm looking at right now that I feel like they have been missing in Menno's list right there. If I was a team manager in Formula Challenge, I would look for guys who have a very uneventful race, because if you have an uneventful race, that means that you are driving consistently. Usually that means you're not making too many mistakes. That means you are able, most of the time at least, to fight with other drivers without crashing into them. And I feel like Kasper Michalak and Gerard van der Weide did exactly that today. They both had rather uneventful races. They've fared pretty well, P4 and P8. And these 2 are definitely 2 drivers I would contact. At least Kasper Michalak, van der Weide, I would have to rewatch his race, basically. Try to save a replay and rewatch his race. to see if he didn't make any mistakes that were not captured by the stream. But I don't think so. So I would definitely try to have more of an eye on these two, Kasper Michalak and Gerard van der Weide.
So there we go with Sebastian there doing his next scouting mission. So I think on that note, I am going to call this broadcast now to a close. Firstly, I'm going to say thank you to our sponsors, ACR SaxSpeed, iSimRs.com as well, for being ever present this sponsoring the series so far. And also thank you to the Simpit for letting us stream on their YouTube channel. And I say feel free as well to like and subscribe, both them and ACR SaxSpeed as well. Thank you also to the people you haven't heard from this evening, Garrett de Vries for being our streaming this evening, doing the cameras, and also to Chris Butcher for being our race director. And also thank you again, once again, for joining me and putting up with me this evening, Menno Klont and Sebastian Kowalke. I'll say next action will be next week now for Formula Challenge, Super Cup and Super League for next week at Silverstone. And I say sign-ups for this series, if you're interested, will be opened up on Thursday, with the next round being at the Hungaroring in 6 weeks' time. Thank you very much for this evening. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I shall see you, hopefully see you next time if I'm alive and well. Until then, take care. Have a good evening. Bye for now.